So we move outside afterwards. The two of them conclude that they'd fight for the beer back.
Okay. And the two of them that you're referring to,
Hines and Jack Snyder.
okay. And at some point in time, did they confront each other as if they were going to fight?
Yes.
Were you present and witnessed that
Yes.
happening? And when that happened, what, if anything, can you tell us about where, withdrawing? Based on your recollection, do you know if Tyler De Silva was present at that moment?
Yes.
And where was he standing at that moment?
So Hines and Snyder are looking at each other. De Silva's to Snyder's left.
So if you're behind and I'm,
De Silva's right there.
so he's over to Jack's left.
Yes.
Okay. Was the defendant present when this was happening?
Yes.
And when do you recall where he was standing before, when Jack and
He
Jack
was
around?
right here to Hines,
Behind him to his right?
like peripheral.
Okay. Now, what do you recall about what happened next when you were witnessing this?
They both put their hands up. They're about to begin fighting, and the first punch was thrown, but by Lito from the back, and it hit Hines in this back side of the head, and then Hines instantly takes Snyder to the ground.
So if you're Jack and I'm Ryan, the defendant is here, and he punches Ryan in the face from behind?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, when that happens, what occurs next?
Hines instantly takes him to the ground, and this is like a 30-second thing that from start to finish. And once he gets to the ground, a girl they all knew was like trying to break it up. Lito had a motorcycle helmet on. He had taken it off and struck Hines with it once or twice, hit him in the head.
Now, when the fight starts after the defendant punches Ryan from behind, does anybody else jump in the fight?
Once they get to the ground, Lito hits him with the helmet. So yeah, I guess that's jumping into the fight.
Did Tyler jump into the fight?
The way they fell, I only saw like his upper body. I didn't see any fists, so maybe he kicked, but I'm not here to say this.
So
or
at
no.
some point in time, Jack and Ryan are engaged in a fight. And what do you witness the defendant do?
Hit him with the motorcycle helmet.
So he comes over and hits him with the helmet. How does he hit him with the helmet?
Takes it off and strikes him down on it twice, I believe.
Okay. Do you recall what Tyler De Silva was wearing that night?
A powder blue jersey. It was open, like a white shirt on, I think jeans.
And do you recall what the defendant was wearing that night?
Also a powder blue shirt with black, I think, sweatpants.
And do you recall what Jack Snyder was wearing that night?
A red hoodie and black sweatpants.
Approach the witness, Your Honor.
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 53 for identification purposes. Do you recognize 53?
Yes.
And what is 53?
A picture of Jack Snyder and the defendant.
And is this, did you take this picture?
No.
Now, is this how you remember what the defendant was wearing on the night in question?
Yes.
And is this a picture accurately reflect what Jack was wearing that night?
Yes.
Your Honor, unless there's an objection, I would offer it at this moment. No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will accept into evidence states 53.
Showing you states 53 again, now for the jury's benefit. Is that the defendant to the right there?
Yes.
And that's Jack Snyder to the left?
Yes.
And is that the motorcycle helmet that the defendant has on that you saw the defendant use during the fight with Ryan Hines?
I believe so, yes.
Now, you indicated that after the fight, it lasted about 30 seconds?
Maybe 40.
Okay. When the fight eventually ended, what, if anything, did you and or Ryan do next?
The mom comes out, Lifer's mom comes out running or yelling. Like obviously there's a fight in her driveway. Kind of just get up, gather his things, tries to find some of his beers they had spilt. I think he grabbed a couple of them. We headed down the driveway. We met a group of girls who had just witnessed that as well. And we offered or asked them to bring us back to our friend's house, and they said yes. They brought us back to our friend Natalia's house. And then
When you went back to Natalia's house, let me ask you this. Between the time you were at 5 Lazy Brook to the time you went back to Natalia's house, were you drinking any alcohol?
no,
When you got back to Natalia's house, how long would you say you were at Natalia's house for when the girls dropped you off?
maybe around like 10, 15 minutes.
And when you were at Natalia's house, were you drinking alcohol at that point?
No.
Did you observe Ryan Hines drinking alcohol at that point?
No.
Now, at some point in time between leaving Lazy Brook Road and getting to Natalia's house, was there any communication between you or anybody else over any type of messaging?
Not at that point, no.
Okay. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what, if anything, occurred between the time you left Natalia's house? Well, withdrawn. At some point in time, you were there for how long?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes, and at some point you left?
Yes.
Why did you leave Natalia's house?
Close friend of mine, Charlie Connery, had given me a call, had heard about what happens with Hines, and he said he was coming to grab us.
Without telling us what he said.
Sustained.
Okay, you can't tell us what he said. Did Charlie Connery call you?
Yes.
Did you have a conversation with Charlie Connery?
Yes.
And did you tell him what you observed at 5 Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point in time, did somebody pick you up at Natalia's house?
Yes.
And who picked you up?
Charlie.
And when he picked you up, where did you go?
To Tyler Rich's house.
Okay. Now, between the time you left Natalia's house, the time you got to Tyler Rich's house, were there any communications between, we'll call it you and your Shelton friends and the St. Joe's kids?
Yeah, some had begun.
Okay. Can you please describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that was without telling us what people said?
We were in a basketball group chat.
What does that mean, basketball group chat?
It means that prior to this incident, it was an existing group chat. There was 2 other St. Joe's kids in it that we hung out with. And we would go play basketball, pick up games, kid stuff. And once this had happened, a few people were added into the group chat, and then it became very argumentative, going back and forth because of the fight. And it was just boys talking crap to each other, beefing.
And were you in that group chat?
Yes.
And did you engage anybody in that group chat?
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of things were you saying in that group chat?
We were talking crap back and forth. At one point, it was said within the group chat on their behalf
Well,
of.
you can't tell us what they said, unless you know something that the defendant said. We just need to know the tone of it.
It was hostile, argumentative. We were both going back and forth. We were hot. Our boy had been jumped by 3 kids, so we were acting out of emotions, being like boys, just like talking shit back and forth.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 5. Full exhibit. Do you recognize State 5?
Yes.
And what is State 5?
The Rich's house.
That's Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
How do you know Tyler Rich?
From the same town. We've always just kind of been around each other since we were younger.
You grew up with him?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
what time of night would you say you got to Tyler Rich's house?
Probably around 11.
11-ish? Okay. Was it dark out? What was the lighting like?
Well, the sun was down, yeah, so it was nighttime, but the moon was out. It wasn't terribly dark. We were able to see outside.
Okay. Was it pitch black?
No.
And when you got to Tyler Rich's house, was this group chat, this basketball group chat between the Shelton kids and St. Joe's kids, did that continue when you were at Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Was everybody that was withdrawn? How many people would you say were at Tyler Rich's house when you and Ryan got to Tyler Rich's house?
Probably around 30, 40.
30, 40 kids? May approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 54 for identification purposes. You recognize 54?
I do.
And what is State's 54?
A picture of Faison Teal.
And how do you know Faison Teal?
I played football with him in high school.
And does this picture accurately reflect what Faison Teal looked like on or about 5/14 of 2022?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 55 for identification purposes. Do you recognize State's 55?
Yes.
And how do you recognize State's 55?
It's Tommy Connery. It's Charlie's older brother. I've known their family for some time.
And how do you know? You've known him for some time?
Yeah.
And are you friends with Tommy or Charlie Moore? How does that?
I was friends with Charlie because he's a year older than me, so that made me be friends with Tommy as well.
And does this State's 55 accurately reflect what Tommy looked like on or around May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 56. You recognize 56.
Yes.
And what is State's 56?
Photo of Ryan Hines.
And how do you know Ryan Hines?
Once he moved to Shelton, we were kind of just boys from sports.
What kind of sports?
Football.
And does this picture accurately reflect what Ryan Hines looked like on May 15th of 2022?
Yes.
And finally, I'm going to show you State's 57. You recognize State's 57.
I do.
And how do you recognize State's 57?
It's a picture of my friend Jimmy McGrath.
And how do you know Jimmy McGrath?
When I first switched over to public schools in third grade, I met him on the bus.
And does this picture accurately reflect Jimmy McGrath on May 14th of 2022?
Yeah.
What he appeared like on May 14th of 2022?
Yeah.
Your Honor, without objection, I would offer these as full exhibits. Objection.
All right, without objection, court will go ahead and take into evidence states 54, 55, 56, and 57, I believe.
I may have a moment. I'm
It's okay.
sorry. After I call.
Madam Clerk, those went through 57, correct? Yes. Thank you.
Showing you State's 54, now publishing that to the jury. State's 54 is again,
Faison Teal.
and was Faison present at 43 Laurel Glen, Tyler Rich's house on the night of May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Showing you 55. What's 55 a picture of again?
A picture of Tommy Connery.
And was Tommy Connery present at Tyler Rich's house on May 14th of 2022?
Yes, he was.
Showing you 56. What is 56 again? Picture of who?
Ryan Hines.
It was Ryan Hines. Is that the same Ryan Hines you mentioned that was with you at Lazy Brook earlier in the night and went with you to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Finally, 57. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury who 57 is?
Jimmy McGrath.
It was Jimmy McGrath at 43 Laurel Glen, Tyler Rich's house when you went there that night.
Yes.
I'm going to show you States 12. Do you recognize States 12?
Yes.
And how do you recognize States 12?
It's Jimmy McGrath.
Now, Are you familiar with an Enrico Fiola or Ricky Fiola?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
Played sports with him. Known him since probably 6th grade.
And was he present at 43 Laurel Glen on the night of May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Sal Perry?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Sal Perry?
Our families are friends.
And was he present at 43 Laurel Glen on the night of May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Mike Samperi?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Mike Samperi?
I grew up with him as well.
And was he present at Tyler Rich's house on May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Are you familiar with an Alex Bernstein?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Alex Bernstein?
He's Tanner's friend. That's how I met him.
And was he present at Tyler Rich's house on the night of May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
How about Charlie Connery? Was Charlie Connery present at Tyler Rich's house on the night of May 14th
Yes.
of 2022? And how about Jacob Villalobos? Are you familiar with Jacob Villalobos?
Yeah.
And how are you familiar with Jacob?
He was my captain.
Captain for what?
Football.
And was he present at 43 Laurel Glen
Yes.
on May 14th of 2022? How about Matt Lockovich? Are you familiar with a Matt Lockovich?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with him?
He was also my football captain.
And was he present at Tyler Rich's house on the night of May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
Now, when you got to Tyler Rich's house at around 11 p.m., what kind of, you said there were about 30 kids there?
Yeah.
What kind of things were going on when you got to Tyler Rich's house on May 14th of 2022?
Typical high school things, down in the basement, listening to music. A couple people had drinks.
Did you drink?
Not while I was at the Riches, no.
I'm sorry?
Not while I was at the Riches, no.
You didn't drink at all at Tyler Rich's house?
I could have had a beer.
Have you drank before?
Yeah, prior to Lazy Brook.
Okay. How about prior to May 14th of 2022? Have you ever had a beer before?
Yeah.
Have you ever been intoxicated before?
Yeah.
On May 14th of 2022, were you intoxicated?
No.
Now, how long would you say you were at Tyler Rich's house while the group chat was going on?
Probably about like 25 minutes.
And after about 25 minutes, well, withdrawn. During that 25 minutes, did you say anything in that group chat with regards to 43 Laurel Glen?
Yes. As we were all together going over this group chat, we're talking, they're talking. It was kind of just like I was a collective. A couple people would tell them to pull up, so I did.
So you told them to pull up, and when you told them to pull up, how did they know where to get to?
I said the road name.
I'm sorry?
I said the road name.
Okay. And at some point in time, after that 25 minutes, did something happen that you became aware of outside of 43 Laurel Glen?
I'm not sure who, but someone had pointed out that there was a car outside. We kind of all collectively headed out through the back and went outside and saw the car.
I may have a moment, Your Honor. Can I-
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 49. You recognize 49?
Yes,
Okay. And this is a overhead shot of what?
the Riches household.
Okay, and that would be this house here to the left of 49, kind of covered by some trees with the 3 pickup trucks in the driveway.
Yeah,
That's Tyler Rich's house.
yeah,
Trying to make the record reflect that I'm pointing to the house with the black, blue, and white truck parked in the driveway.
All right, so noted, thank you.
Now, at some point in time, a car arrives.
Yeah.
What kind of car was it?
I believe a Honda Pilot.
Showing you State's 30. Is that the Honda Pilot you saw pull up or in the area of 43 Laurel Glen on May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
And when this Honda Pilot pulled up, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where you saw the car when you exited, well, withdraw? When you were aware, became aware that there was a car outside of Tyler Rich's house, what, if anything, did you do?
We all came outside. At first, it was like, "Where's the car?" And then we had noticed closer to at like the bottom of the road, like where the road meets that road, a car was added to like the chain of cars that were there, and we had recognized that we didn't know what car that was. So we all kind of made our way over to it, realized that they were in the car.
Now I'm going to take you back now, okay? Back up. This is State's Exhibit 6, okay? Tyler Rich's house, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you were at Tyler Rich's house, were you inside the house or outside the house?
Both.
Both, okay. When you became aware that there was a car that arrived in the area of Tyler Rich's house, were you inside the house or outside the house?
Inside.
Okay, and where were you inside the house?
We were in the basement.
Okay. And at some point in time, when you heard there was a car that arrived at Tyler Rich's house, did you exit the basement?
Yes.
How did you exit the basement?
Through like the umbilical doors in the back.
Bilko doors?
Yeah.
Those are like the basement doors that
Yeah.
open like this? And what side of the house are the Bilko doors in? I'm showing you State 6. Can you show us where?
It's kind of blurry,
Can you
but
step down and point, Your Honor?
Certainly, that's fine. If he feels comfortable doing that. Certainly, of course.
you were so right around here is the walkway entrance that brings you from around back.
Okay. So, Your Honor, the record can reflect that the witness pointed to this area just in front of the blue truck in State 6 in the back area where there appears to be an air conditioning unit. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. In this opening here area here.
All right, that's noted. Thank you.
And when you came out of the Bilko doors, are you able to describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury in State's Exhibit 49 did you observe the car when you walked right out the Bilko doors? Not at first?
No, you came around the house.
So you came around the house. Did you come around the house? And for the jury and the record's benefit, did you come out this way where this patch of grass is just to the left of the blue truck?
Yeah. Sorry.
Did you walk down the driveway?
I believe so.
Okay. And when you walked to the driveway, did you walk to the end of the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you got to the end of the driveway, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you observed at that moment.
We had noticed that the car was about where those trees are, equivalent parked right about there.
So for the record's benefit, are you referring to these trees right here?
Yes.
So was the car parked in the middle of the road, side of the road,
It was pulled up onto the side.
on the side of the road? So right about here?
Yeah.
So, Your Honor, the record can reflect there's trees at the bottom of Stage 49, the bottom right-hand group of trees just after the intersection of Laurel Glen and Adams.
All right, that's noted. Thank you.
So the car was parked there?
Yeah.
When the car was parked there, did you approach the car?
Yeah, we all did.
Okay. And when you say you all did, how many people do you think approached the car, if you know?
At least 20.
Okay. And do you recall who was present when you approached the car?
In the car.
In your group? No, in
our
your group.
not specifically.
Okay. Was Tyler Rich present? If you recall.
I don't recall exactly who was outside.
So there was about 20 kids?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you approached the car, was the car facing
It was facing
towards Adams or away from Adams?
away down
Away.
the road.
So if we're looking at approach your arms.
Okay.
This is Stage 1. So when the car is parked, it's parked this way, facing towards Farmhouse Road?
Yes.
And you approached the car?
Yes.
And did you recognize anybody in the car?
Yes.
Who did you recognize in the car?
De Silva, Snyder, and Lito from prior at the Lifers.
So you You noticed the defendant was in the car? Jack Snyder and Tyler DeSilva? Did you notice if there was anybody else in the car?
I think so, but I'm not sure who.
At that moment, you weren't sure who else was in the car? Now, can you please describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened when your Shelton friends went out to the car?
They start talking, start going back and forth. We're saying stuff to them. They're saying stuff to us.
Was it a civil discussion? Was it argumentative?
Argumentative.
Okay. Did you say anything?
No, I was in the front. I wasn't at any windows.
You were in the front?
Yeah.
What do you mean you were in the front?
Like where I was standing, I was kind of looking through the windshield.
So if you were, if the car is parked here on the right side in states 49, you were somewhere up here in front of the car?
Yeah.
Now, if this is the car here, are you directly in front of the car? Or are you? inside the car?
I'm more towards the passenger side. Yeah.
So you're closer to the curb than you are to the center of the road?
Yeah.
Okay. But still in front of the car?
Yeah.
And how long would you say the interaction went on between your friends and the St. Joe's group?
A few minutes.
Do you recall who was driving the Pilot that night?
Jack Snyder.
And do you recall, if you can, who was in the front passenger seat?
I don't recall. I just saw the powder blue in the front and back.
Okay. And you said about 5 minutes that interaction went on?
Yeah. A few.
And at some point in time, did something happen between your group of friends and the Snyder vehicle group of friends?
Yeah, they're talking back and forth, and then collectively people start like holding onto the roof racks and shaking it back and forth.
So your group started shaking the car? Okay. And what else, excuse me, what else happened during that?
The car was on, so once that started happening, they put it in drive and drove forward, and I had to like hop out of the way a little bit, and they sped down the road.
So you had to hop out of the way when the car drove down the road?
Yeah.
How was it being operated, if you recall?
Speeding, I
Okay.
guess.
And when you say it went down the road, it took off towards Farmhouse?
Farmhouse, yes.
Okay. And when it took off down the road towards Farmhouse, what, if anything, did you observe at that point?
What happens after they drive away is they can continue to drive back and forth from the Rich's house, like up and down the road.
So they're driving in State 49 up and back down Laurel Glen?
Yeah, I'm not exactly positive if they hit a U-turn or if you see it's like a square. So I don't really remember if they drove the square or if they just busted a U-turn and came back and forth.
But they came
Yeah,
back and
they
forth.
crossed the house multiple times.
Okay. And when they crossed the house multiple times, what, if anything, did you observe people from the car doing?
They were throwing things at us. We were throwing things at them.
What kind of things were they throwing at you?
I believe there was a WD-40 can, like a water jug of some sort.
And when those things were thrown at you guys, what, if anything, did you observe your group of friends do?
Throw it back.
You threw it back at them. Okay. Did you witness anybody throw anything and hit the car?
I don't recall if anyone hit the car.
Are you aware if the car was hit with anything?
I'm not sure, no.
Okay. And at some point in time, did they stop driving back and forth in front of Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Okay. And when they stopped doing that, what, if anything, did you observe as to where the car went?
They had moved towards where Farmhouse Lane is and stopped the car up like on the corner of it.
So for the jury's and the record's benefit, this is stage one. If we're looking at stage one, they're somewhere in the area of the intersection of Farmhouse and Laurel Glen?
Yes.
Okay. And would you say they were in front? Did you see them in front of this house, or was it more towards the intersection?
I was far away, so.
So you couldn't tell exactly, but they were in this area?
Yeah.
And Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness was saying they were in the area of the intersection of Farmhouse Road and 36 Road.
It's noted. Thank you.
And when you were down the road, when you saw them, the car stopped down the road, did you observe anything about the occupants of the car?
I think two of them had gotten out.
And could you see who got out of the car?
No, I could not see specifically.
Okay. And when you noticed those individuals get out of the car, what if anything, did you observe next?
Two of my friends, maybe more, but Ricky and Tyler began walking down to go speak with them.
And when you say Ricky, you mean Ricky Fiola?
Yes.
And when you say Tyler, you mean Tyler Rich?
Yes.
Okay. And they went down the road. Did you see them go down all the way down the road?
I saw them when they got pretty close, and then I had headed back inside.
Did you observe Tyler Rich or Ricky Fiola do anything when they were going down the road?
No.
Did you hear anything as to not what people said, but did you hear anything, any argument or anything down the road from where you were?
No.
Okay. And you say that at some point in time you went back into the house?
Yeah.
And when you went back into the house, how did you enter Tyler's house?
Same way I left, through the
Okay,
basement door.
So you walked. Before you get back into the house, can you show me on stage 49 where you were standing when the car finally went down the road?
Yeah, I kind of like around the mailbox, like poked out in the road a little bit. Just saw the boys walking down there.
So my finger's pointed in the road here, just in front of the mailbox on 49. Is that about where you were standing?
Yeah, in that general area.
Okay. And when you went back, the record can reflect my finger's pointing to the front of the mailbox, just about maybe 5 feet into the road.
Court will note it. Thank you.
And when you went back into Tyler Rich's house, did you walk up the driveway and go inside the Bilko doors, or did you go in the house a different way?
I took the same route.
And when you were back in the house, when you were back in Tyler Rich's house, how long would you say you were in Tyler Rich's house for at that time?
A few minutes.
A few minutes. And when you were back in Tyler Rich's house, were you consuming any alcohol?
No.
And how many people would you say were inside the house when you went back inside the house at that moment?
Almost all of us.
Okay. And at some point in time, did you come back outside the house?
Yes.
And why did you go back outside the house?
Because they had came back.
When you say they had come back, who came back?
Well, when we got outside, Lito and De Silva were out of their car.
Okay. Now, show you states 52. Okay. Now, when you came out of the house, what route did you take?
The same route I had been taken. We veered a little left because they were approaching towards the yard.
I'll show you states 50. A little closer view. When you came out of Tyler Rich's house, you came out this side of the house where the Bilko doors were?
Yeah.
And I'm pointing to the area just in front of, there's an opening between some trees in the house just in front of the blue truck here, right?
Yep.
Okay. And when you came out of the house, what route did